Well, hi, Juliet. Thanks ever so much for kind of coming along and helping us out with these interviews. Could you kind of first of all give me some idea of, well, your job and who you are?
Hey, yeah, so my name's Dr. Juliet Jackson, and I'm a marine researcher and environmental engineer. So this means I carry out a whole range of different studies in the sea, and many of which are linked to coastal structures such as sea walls and breakwaters.
Fantastic. Okay. And how did you actually get into this job?
I got into it from just one marine job to another, really, and becoming a specialist in the field. So while I was at university, I was an aquarium guide for 3 years. And then I worked at the Environmentl Laboratory for AstraZeneca, who we've all heard of recently, the pharmaceutical company. But of course, all pharmaceuticals have to go through rigorous procedures to see if any of their pharmaceuticals that they produce would damage the environment. And then that was before I worked at Plymouth University as a project manager, again on coastal management, all different coastal projects.
Fantastic. And so while you were at school, what kind of qualifications did you study?
Well, I went to a mainstream secondary school, and I studied for all the standard GCSEs. There wasn't really any choice at the time. You just kind of got what you were given, and that was the double sciences and all the generic GCSEs. And then I went on to do A levels for environmental science, biology, and statistics.
Right. Okay. And so now you've got into this role of maritime engineering and coastal engineering. What kind of training do you get on the job? I mean, do you have to learn as you go, or is it a case of your employers kind of train you?
Well, a lot of it's transferable skills learned from kind of about the time of my A levels, really. So then I learned to dive, right. And that really helped later on. So scuba dive, that's self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. And I used to dive in the tanks at the aquarium. So as well as being a guide and talking to the public, because I was becoming a fisheries expert or fish disease expert as well, I would dive in the tanks at the aquarium and look at the specimens and the health of the specimens and the condition of the tank. And also, again, late teens, I learned to be a beach lifeguard, which has got great transferable skills and the ability to understand the tides and things like that, and the conditions that I would be later going on to do field work in. I'm also a competent yachtswoman. That's a picture of my yacht behind me. And trained as a marine mammal medic. So I kind of come across during my job, during my day-to-day work, I come across things that kind of mix with my hobbies.
Fantastic. So what kind of personal qualities do you think have helped you be so successful?
I think it would be strong scientific skills in things like analysis and recording data, presenting information, but also, very importantly, I think a high regard for my own safety and that of the wider team. So team skills, but definitely in terms of safety. And again, along those lines, the practical seamanship skills. So being able to tie a boat up securely and in the right place, okay. Things like that.
Okay, cool. And so if you look back over your career so far, I mean, what would you say were the key challenges of your job?
There's definitely massive competition, so you have to you have to stick with it as much as you can. So even if things seem to be really quiet on the work front, you need to keep those skills going, and you have to be patient as well. You have to be patient to and look for opportunities, think outside the box. And even on a day-to-day basis, you have to be patient. You have to wait for weather windows. You have to have really good organisation skills so that you make really good use of good conditions.
Okay, fantastic. And so, what were the key rewards in this job? I mean, as time's gone by, what's really kind of been the reward for all your hard work and perseverance?
Really, the main reward has to be that there's, in my role, because it's environmental engineering, and it's working towards increasing biodiversity. And okay, if you have to have a big structure, then how do you mitigate that structure in the marine environment? How do you make it so that it's not too damaging into the environment? How do you add habitat to it without compromising the actual structure itself? So the environmental stewardship is high. It gives you a really good moral sense of environmental stewardship. I'm also kind of looking at things like the effects of climate change, so looking at long-term data collection, things like that. Again, requiring the patience, but it's all really satisfying work, and variability in the work. And it's satisfying to be recognised. So I've won awards from the Environment Agency for my reports and my work, and that's all been really comforting, I guess.
Yeah, fantastic. That's good. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Well, you've now been doing this for a fair few years. So what still keeps getting you out of bed in the morning? I mean, is it getting dull? Is it getting boring?
No, certainly not. I think it has to be the variability. I really like thinking, right, what's on this week? Is it down at the shore? Is it analysing some photos? Is it working on somebody else's research? During COVID particularly, I haven't been able to necessarily work on my own research, but there's some fantastic citizen science. Again, that kind of leads back into the what else can you do? There is so much citizen science that anybody can participate in. There's a fantastic one on the Great Barrier Reef. And it's about analysing photos from the Great Barrier Reef. And it is so easy. All you have to do is decide whether there's coral, sand, or water in the picture. And it goes into a massive database. And that's what I like. There's just constantly something that you can do.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Juliet. I'm going to draw the interview to a close there. Thank you so much for your time, and see you soon.
Yes.